All right, so still on the multiplying polynomials worksheet. This time we are going to factor out the greatest common factor. So factoring is when we take something that's we take a polynomial and we split it up into two polynomials that are being multiplied by each other. So in this case, we're going to be splitting it up into a monomial times a polynomial. So how we're going to do that is we're going to look at our three terms here and we're going to figure out what is it that is in all three terms. What do they have in common? So in other words, what could I divide all three of them by that would come out evenly? So if I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, oh, all of three of these numbers are divisible by 10. If I divide them by 10, I would get nice whole numbers. Oops. Sorry. That's not what I meant to do. If I divided each of these by 10, I would get nice whole numbers, right? 90 divided by 10 is 9. 80 divided by 10 is 8. 7 divided by 10 is 7. So if I divide by 10, I'm going to get nice whole numbers. I also notice that they all have R's in them. This one has 1 R, this has 2, this has 3. So the smallest number of R's is 1. So that's what I can divide by, and they will all come out even. So I'm going to divide by R as well. So I'm going to divide everything by 10R. So I'm going to figure out what that is. So again, here I have 90 divided by 10 is 9. R to the third divided by R to the first, right? It's 3 minus 1 is R squared. I have minus. And then 80 divided by 10 is 8. R squared divided by R is just R, right? 2 minus 1 is 1, so that's just R. And then 70 divided by 10 is 7, so I have minus 7. And then R divided by R is just 1, or 1 minus 1 is 0. R to the 0 is 1. So this is what I have left after I've divided by R. But again, I said I wanted to rewrite this as multiplication of two things. So I'm not just dividing by 10R, I'm rewriting this as multiplication. So I'm saying if I have this and I multiplied it by 10R, multiplied it by what I divided by, right? Then I would be back at the original. If I did this multiplication, I would be back at the original. So this is my factored form. If I factor out the greatest common factor, so this is the common factor that I factored out. If I factor out the common factor, I'm going to end up with this multiplication. So I take my polynomial and I rewrite it as multiplication of two polynomials. And I do that by dividing out the biggest thing that I can. All right, so let's do one more example of this. So I'm going to go ahead and erase, and we're going to do number 42 on the worksheet. So doing number 42, we are going to have negative 16b squared a plus 4b squared plus 40b. So again, sorry, this is 42 in the worksheet. So again, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to say, okay, what can I divide out of all of these? They'll give me nice numbers. So I look at this and they're all divisible by 4. Do you see that? This is 16 is 4 times 4. Obviously, 4 is 4 times 1. And 40 is 4 times 10. So they're all divisible by 4. So I can divide out of 4. And then I'm going to look at the variables and see if there's anything that they all have in common. And they all have a b in common. They all have a b. So I can also divide by b. So I'm going to divide by 4b. So my final answer is going to be 4b times something. I don't know what that something is yet, but that's what I'm going to figure out. So I'm going to say, okay, negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. B squared divided by b is just b, right? 2 minus 1 is 1, so it's just b. And then I have the a just kind of stays, because I didn't divide by a, so that stays where it is. And then I have 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And then b squared divided by b again is b. So I don't have to write the 1 because I have the b there. I could write it as 1b, but I don't need to write that 1. And then I have 40 divided by 4 is 10. And b divided by b is 1. So I just have 10 here. So the b's cancel. All right. So this is my factored version. If I factor out the common factor, this is what I get. So factored means that I have a multiplication of two polynomials. So this is the factored form of this polynomial. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.